Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to talk about right now is the 3 days of darkness. Now, I did a video on this a long time ago, but yesterday in one of my videos, someone blew up my comment sections with, "Why aren't you talking about the 3 days of darkness?" While I appreciate your comment, I did respond to you saying that I did a video on it a long time ago. But then you kept commenting and commenting and commenting. So I'm going to do another video on it for you. I'm going to do this video in like two different ways, okay? First, I'm going to talk about the prophetic side. And then I'm going to talk about the 3 days of darkness and what could possibly happen, the after effects and everything else. So stick with me because it could get a little long here, okay? In certain Catholic prophetic circles, there is a concept known as the 3 days of darkness, and according to which a judgment will come upon the earth, and the earth will prematurely be shrouded in darkness. One of the most famous quotations about this event is attributed to an Italian mystic. Her name is Anna Maria Taigi, T-A-I-G-I. And she has been known to say this: "There shall come over the whole earth an intense darkness, lasting 3 days and 3 nights. Nothing can be seen, and the air will be laden with pestilence, which will claim mainly, but not only, the enemies of religion. It will be impossible to use any man-made lighting during this darkness. The only lighting that you'll be able to use are candles made of at least 51% beeswax, okay? Except blessed candles. He who out of curiosity opens his window to look out or leaves his home will fall dead on the spot. During those 3 days, people should remain in their homes, pray the rosary, and beg God for mercy. All of the enemies of the church, whether known or unknown, will perish over the whole earth during that universal darkness, with the exception of a few who God will soon convert. The air shall be infected by demons who will appear under all sorts of hideous forms." Now, when I first started, doing I had, like I said, I did this same video years and years ago, like about almost 3 years ago. I wanted to do more research for today, and I knew that the person who had, put those comments in the comment section had already started watching videos on this. So I wanted to see what videos were out there. And oh my Lord, when I tell you, fear-mongering, fear-mongering, fear-mongering. Well, you guys know me. I am not a fear-monger. I'm going to give you the facts. I'm going to give it to you straight. And that's it. So, even though this stuff may seem scary, I just want you to know that that is not my intention. Okay? I will never scare you. I will never place fear in you. So, you guys do your own research. Okay? So some Catholics have been very concerned about this event because if it were to occur as described, it would be very terrifying. So what should we make of this prediction? Okay, so because remember, these predictions were made by mystics. Okay, is it credible? How does the church, what does the church have to say about it? Well, the answer to the last question is very easy. Nothing. The church has said absolutely nothing about it. A search on the Vatican website actually reveals there's no occurrences of the phrase 3 days of darkness. The 3 days of darkness is not a matter of the church teaching. Okay. Now, can it be supported by the Bible? Websites advocating the 3 days of darkness regularly appear in the 9th plague of Exodus, in which God caused 3 days of darkness where? In Egypt. So this is a reference to a historical event, not a prediction of a future one. So appeal is also made to Revelation 6:12 to 16:10 and the sixth seal of the fifth vial. And these chapters in Revelation most likely pertain to events early in the church history, not our future. And although both passages involve darkness, there's no mention of it lasting 3 days. I'm not done, so just hold on, okay? Because I'm going to get to what you really want me to talk about, but I have to talk about what these mystics are talking about first, okay? Because that's who's making these videos, okay? Not, obviously not the mystics from the 1800s. I'm talking about the mystics of today, okay? So consequently, the Bible does not contain a prediction of the 3 days of darkness. However, God could still reveal it through credible private revelations. And it is here that we run into a problem, okay? The origins of the prophecy are unclear, but it has been attributed to a number of saints and mystics throughout history. And some believe it comes from a Saint Hildegard, while others attribute it to Saint Patrick and Saint Teresa of Avila. Now, this is a problem because if any of these figures predicted the 3 days of darkness, it should be possible to find this prediction in their writings. Nobody's been able to do it. So it appears that some advocates of the view have attempted to give it an air of antiquity by associating older saints with it. St. Patrick lived in the 400s. Hildegard lived in the 1100s. St. Teresa lived in the 1500s. Even though they made no predictions about it, the idea appears to be of more recent origin, okay? So, of course, there's a number of visionaries appearing today and operating today. Some of them do speak on the 3 days of darkness. However, what these visionaries have in common is that none of them have been investigated and none of their visions have been approved. So some of these visionaries authentically receive private revelations, but some of them, they're hoaxes. So because hoaxes exist in every age, including our own, whereas others may be innocently imaging or imagining things based on what they have read in visionary literature. And this is why it's important to have competent investigations done rather than simply giving credence to claims of purported revelations. So if we set aside disapproved and uninvestigated claims, what are we left with? Well, some advocates of these 3 days of darkness have actually claimed that St. Padre Pio predicted it. However, the quotation was given no traceable source, and the order that he was with, that he belonged to, they denied that he ever made this prediction. And even if you Google his name and put in 3 days of darkness, you'll see pages and pages and pages saying, oh, Padre Pio said it, Padre Pio said it. No, he did not. Okay. So it appears to be a case of someone trying to lend the prediction credibility by associating it with a very popular modern saint, which would be Padre Pio. Okay. Matter of fact, a movie just came out about him last year. So what about the most famous quotation concerning the 3 days of darkness? The one quoted earlier about Anna Maria Tag. Okay. There's various web pages that attribute it to a book titled Private Prophecy, which was published in 1863. Well, this is good, you would think, because books of that era have been digitized and are searchable online. Well, go ahead and try and find it. You can't find it anywhere. So when it comes to these prophecies and people trying to give it relation to a modern day saint because they have to put a famous name on it, or these visionaries of today I've been able to determine that these revelations are not subject to an investigation into their validity. When a person's cause for canonization is opened, a check is made to see whether he said it, she said, anything that contradicts the faith. However, a judgment is not made about the validity of any revelation that he said, she said, they claim to have received. And this is a separate process, you see. But I just can't find the evidence of being performed here in this case. So I'm going to do more research in the future, but I have not been able to verify a lot of these or have any reference to the 3 days of darkness in an approved apparition. Instead, I have found a highly problematic set of quotations and attributions that appear to be a product of a rumor rather than competent scholarship. As vivid and compelling as the prediction of these 3 days of darkness is according to the prophecies of today and these visionaries, I would not recommend being terrified. I would recommend you doing your own research, given the present state of evidence. Now, when it comes to the signs of the actual 3 days of darkness that we speak of today, due to society, war, religion, poverty, family, hunger, government, the weather, so on and so forth, that's a different story. Those 3 days of darkness, from my understanding, can last for 25 years. But I don't want you to be afraid of this. That's not why I'm speaking on this, okay? The proximate signs serve as a warning that we should prepare ourselves for the soon to arrive. The 3 days of darkness, this is when you prepare, like we do. We're of the prepared mind. We prep, right? We stock up food, water, clothes, other survival supplies, right? So here are the proximate signs. And you're going to say, saw it, see it, dealing with it now, right? Flouting of church laws. Irreverence and immodesty in church fall in attendance at church. Lack of charity towards others, heartlessness, indifference, divisions, contentions, godlessness, pride in human knowledge. Breakdown of family life, immorality, adultery, perversion of youth, giving LGBTQ, giving lectures in school, immodest fashions, okay, like with no modesty with the way that you dress, you know. People concerned only with eating, drinking, dancing, and other pleasures. Civil commotions, contempt for authority, downfall of governments, confusion in high places, corruption, coup d'etat, civil war, revolution. The first 4 proximate signs have already come to pass, at least partly, right? For we are yet to see civil war and revolution in the West, but the sequence of events is not strictly chronological, so keep that in mind, all right? There is room for overlapping here. That's like the 5th proximate sign seems to have begun also. Floods and droughts, crop failures, unusual weather, right? Tornadoes, earthquakes, tidal waves, famines, epidemics, unknown diseases, new strains, Pope fleeing Rome, World War III commencing. The triumph of Immaculate Heart occurs therein after the true renewal, which is a restoration of tradition. There will be a great, ecumenical council to remove the new Mass, to undo the revolution of Vatican II and the proclamation of Mary as co-redemptrix. The great monarch should arise slightly ahead of the 3 days of darkness, along with Peter 2, or the second. So the warning will take place after the proximate signs and immediately before the immediate signs. It will be a supernatural event. It quite frightening, to be honest with you, but it will not cause harm. This will be God's last warning to us. So, you know, are you ready for it? Nobody is. You know what I mean? This is where the scary stuff starts to come in. And according to, you know, the 3 days of darkness, this is what happens during the 3 days of darkness. You know, it's like, it's strange. Some people, especially children, will be taken up to heaven beforehand to spare them the horror of these days. People caught outdoors will die instantly. 3/4 of the human race will be exterminated, more men than women. No one will escape the terror of these days. According to the prophecy, no lights will work during these days of darkness, with one exception, the blessed beeswax candle, right? So for this reason, a lot of devout Catholics, especially the older ones, like our our grandparents and stuff like that, have blessed candles stored in their pantries for just in case. Blessed beeswax candles must be 51% beeswax. So after the 3 days of darkness, there will be an era of peace. The church will flourish, the gospel will be spread. This will be an age of Immaculate Heart of Mary. Then the wolf shall be a guest of the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid. The calf and the young lion shall browse together with a little child to lead them. The cow and the bear shall be neighbors. Together their youngest shall rest. The lion shall eat hay like the ox. The baby shall play with the cobra's den. The child shall lay his hand on the adder's lair. There shall be no harm or ruin on all of my holy mountain, for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the Lord, as water covers the sea. Isaiah 11:6-9. All will be lovely, but that will not be the end, unfortunately. The Antichrist will eventually come, and that will be a horrible time. Finally, our Lord will return. So I hope that this explained what I have already explained about 3 years ago. But I hope, you know, this did not scare you like other people are making videos saying, oh my God, run for the hills, you know, dig a hole and go in it. You know, please don't do any of that. You know, there is no need to be afraid. Okay, please don't. I don't want anyone to ever be scared of anything. Okay, see, this is why we prep. This is why we prepare for things. All right. I just hope I said things in a way that you're able to stay calm with all of this, okay? Because I don't ever want any of you guys to be afraid, okay? All right, guys, I'm out of here, okay? I will see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fear less. Ciao.